Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. The title of our today's video is How to Create Google Calendar Event on Elementor Form Submission. So the objective of our today's video is that with every new form submission in our Elementor, automatically with the details of that form, a new event should be created in my Google Calendar too. For this, we have to create an integration between Elementor and Google Calendar. To create this integration, we are going to use Pabbly. It's an amazing automation software. In Pabbly, we have the concept of trigger in action. So for trigger, we are going to use Elementor, and for action, we are going to use Google Calendar. If you want to learn this process step by step, follow me through the screen. Welcome to my screen. So as you know, in this video, we are going to understand how to create Google Calendar event for Elementor form response. And to start with the automation, we have opened landing page of Pabbly. And over here, you can see there are two options, sign in and sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you'll get 100 of tasks free every month. But I am an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in. As soon as I click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. And over here, you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's automation, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we want to connect two applications, that is Elementor, which is a plugin of WordPress, with our Google Calendar. So I'm going to click on Access Now. And now it is opening my dashboard. And to start with the automation, I'm going to click on this button right over here, which says Create Workflow. And now it is asking me the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So I want to save the workflow in this folder which says automations. And I want to name my workflow Create Google Calendar Event on Elementor Form Submission. And now I'm going to click on this button which says Create. As soon as I click on Create, it is opening my workflow window. This is the most important window of our automation because we have trigger in action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. By this, you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions follow the command. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So over here, we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the command of our trigger. And now we are going to select our trigger application as Elementor. And our trigger event as new form submission because we want as soon as a new form is submitted, this workflow should be triggered. And now it is giving me a webhook URL. And to connect our Elementor with our Pabbly's workflow, we have to follow the instructions over here. So first it is saying sign in to Elementor account. So as you know that I have already signed in my WordPress account and Elementor is a plugin of WordPress and over here I have installed Elementor 2. And now I'll go to pages. And when I go to pages, you can see that here are a lot of pages that I have already created. If you want to create a new page, you can create a new page from here. But I have already created a page, so I'll search for my page, that is event test form. And I'll click on search pages. And yes, over here you can see my page. So now I'm going to open the form. And yes, you can see that I have opened my form. And over here I'm going to click on this button, Edit with Elementor. So as soon as my form opens, over here you can see that all details that are required to create an event are already mentioned in my form. So I just don't have to edit this form. I'll just click on this pencil button to just paste the URL from Pabbly. After clicking on that pencil button, it is asking me to add items or delete items. So if you want, you can do this from here. But I'll directly move on to action after submit. And over here, it is asking me to add an action. So I'm going to add an action that is webhook. And I'll select the tag as webhook. And as you can see that it is added. And over here also it appeared. So I'll just click over here and it is saying webhook URL. So I'll just paste the Pabbly URL over here. So I'll just copy the webhook URL from here and paste it over here. And then I'm going to click on update. And yes, you can see that we have successfully connected our Elementor account with our Pabbly's work. And now it is saying waiting for a webhook response. So this means that Pabbly is waiting to capture a response. So we are going to generate a dummy response. We'll again go to our Elementor and then click on preview changes. After that, we are going to enter the dummy details over here. Event name as know about automation. Name of the user as demo user. Email as demo@pabblytunes.com and then the start date as 31st of March, end date as 31st of March, start time as 12 p.m. and the end time as 1 p.m. And then we are going to click on send. Your submission was successful. This means that we have successfully created a dummy lead. We'll open our Pabbly's workflow, and yes, you can see that Pabbly has captured the lead. Here's the demo name and the end time, end date and the event name. This means that our trigger step is successful. We'll move to our action step. For our action step, our action application would be Google Calendar. And our action event would be create an event, because we want that with every new form submission, an event should be created in our Google Calendar. And now I'm going to click on connect. And it is asking me to add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Google Calendar's account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection. But I'm going to click on add a new connection and then sign in with Google. I have selected my Gmail account and now I'm going to click on allow to give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for. You can also click on allow Pabbly save. And yes, you can see that our Google Calendar account is successfully connected with our Pabbly's work. And now it is asking me the title, the description, location. So we are going to map all these details. So first we are going to map the title. So as you know, mapping means inserting the data from the previous step, and our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Elementor as our trigger application. So we are going to map the details from a response of a trigger application only. So we are going to map the title as event name and the description as event name too. After that, it's not compulsory to give the location, so we'll just leave the location. And then it is asking me for the start date time. So as you can see, here's the format in which Pabbly workflow needs start date and time. But we don't have the same format over here. So for this, we'll create a new action step. We'll click on plus and then we are going to search for date time formatter. This is a feature offered by Pabbly. And over here, our action event as format date with time zone. And then we are going to click on connect. And for the date, I'm going to click on start date. And then we are going to enter T over here in capital. And then the start time, that is 12 p.m. And then you can see here's the format in which our date and time is. But we want to do this in this format. So we are going to select two format. After that, we are going to select from time zone, that is Asia, Kolkata. We'll select our time zone, and for the two time zone, we are going to select UTC time zone. And then we are going to click on save and send test request. And you can see the desired format that we want, and we have achieved it over here. So we have successfully completed our start date and start time. We have to clone this step and do this for the end date and end time too. So I'll just clone step. And yes, you can see that we have cloned this step. We have just duplicated the above step. So all of the details are same. We'll just select the end date over here and end time over here. So for the end date, we are going to map end date and then the capital T and end time. After mapping end date and end time, I am again going to click on save and send test request. And yes, you can see the end date and end time has also been turned into our desired format. And now we'll again move on to our Google Calendar. We'll reconnect our account. So I'll just click on select existing connection and click on save. And yes, we have reconnected our account. And now we are going to map the start date and time from the date time formatter. And over here you can see the result. So we are going to map this, and for the end date of time we are going to click on this and map the result. And yes, we have mapped all these. Now for the time zone we are going to select UTC time zone. And then for the guest we are going to map the email ID of our applicant, that is demo@pabblytudes.com. After that, it is saying event recurrence rule. So over here, you can see that if you want to create a one-time event, use the rule as. So as you know that I'm going to create a one-time event. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here. We'll just delete the extra spaces and click on Save and Send Test Request. And yes, you can see that we have received a positive response that our event has been added to our Google Calendar. So I'll just open my Google Calendar, select the date we created the event for, that is 31st of March. And yes, you can see that we have successfully created an event over here, that is know about automation, the date, the time, and the dummy email that we entered. This means that our automation is successful. We'll just try the workflow once again and give you a real-time example. So I'll again go to my Elementor, click on Preview Changes, enter a dummy detail again, and this time I'm going to name my event as Know About Pabbly, and the demo name as Test User, and the email as test@pabblytudes.com. The start date as, let's select 20 March, and the end date as 20 March. And for the start time, we are going to select 1 p.m. And for the end time, we are going to select 4 p.m. this time. So after this, we are going to click on Send. And yes, it is saying your submission was successful. This means that our event has been created in our Google Calendar. So we don't have to go to our workflow again. We'll directly go to our Google Calendar and check that if event has been created or not. And this time we are not going to our workflow and clicking on Save and Send Test Request. This is a real-time example. And yes, we'll select 20 March. And you can see from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Know About Pabbly has been created over here too. This means that our automation is successful. So we'll go back to our workflow and I'll just summarize the workflow for you once. So for the trigger application, we selected Elementor. For trigger event, we selected new form submission. For the action, we selected Google Calendar. And for the action event, we selected create an event. And then we inserted two date time formatters for start date time and end date time to create the date time in our desired format. This means that our automation is successful. And if you have any query related to the workflow or the video, you can directly comment in this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone the workflow and share the workflow link in the description box. Thank you for watching. Not only these two applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. Now, if you have any doubt, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find this video helpful, do like and subscribe our channel for more such automations. Thank you.